Let us learn formation of magnesium chloride. Magnesium is a metal which has atomic number 12, which means electronic configuration of magnesium will be 2, 8, 2. In the first orbit, we can fill maximum 2 electrons. In second orbit, we can fill maximum 8 electrons. So for magnesium, 2 electrons will be in outermost orbit. Magnesium will also try to get octet configuration like noble gases. That means magnesium will also try to fill its outermost orbit as 8 electrons. Here it has 2 electrons. Again, which will be easy to gain 6 electrons or to lose 2 electrons? We all know that it is easy to lose 2 electrons. So, magnesium will lose 2 electrons from its outermost orbit and it becomes positively charged ion, which will be called as cation. So earlier it was magnesium atom, and by losing 2 electrons it became magnesium cation. Now here very important thing to note that it will become Mg2 plus ion. Why the ion is mentioned as 2 plus? We know that by losing electrons, element becomes positive cation, right? Why is it written 2 plus? Because magnesium is losing 2 electrons. If it was losing only 1 electron, then we don't mention the number. For example, sodium. Sodium has 1 electron in its outermost orbit. By losing that 1 electron, sodium becomes positive ion. Sodium is losing only 1 electron, so we are not mentioning it as 1 plus. But when it is more than 1, it is compulsory to mention it. Here, magnesium is losing 2 electrons, so we will mention it as 2 plus. If any other element has 3 electrons in its outermost orbit and it is losing 3 electrons, so by losing 3 electrons it will become 3 plus cation, right? This way it will be. Now earlier we have already talked about chlorine. Being a non-metal, it has atomic number 17. So in first orbit we'll have 2 electrons, in second orbit 8 electrons, and in third orbit there will be 7 electrons. So chlorine will gain 1 electron and it becomes negatively charged ion. So it will be called as chlorine anion. Now let us talk about formation of magnesium chloride. Now we know that magnesium has 2 electrons in its outermost orbit. So magnesium will lose 2 electrons. If we take one chlorine atom which is negatively charged, that means chlorine will accept 1 electron and it will form compound. But it is very important to note that magnesium is losing 2 electrons and chlorine requires only 1 electron. So where will be other electron forming compound? Where will it be going? So what to do? For that, we will take 2 chlorine atoms. Why is it so? Because 1 magnesium atom is losing 2 electrons and one chlorine atom will need only one electron. So one electron will be extra. For that, we will take another chlorine atom, which will be chlorine anion, and that will also need one electron. So this way, both electrons from magnesium metal are transferred to two chlorine atoms. And this transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal is known as ionic compounds. How this magnesium chloride is formed? Because magnesium is cation and chlorine is anion. They both are oppositely charged and they attract each other, and they are held by strong electrostatic forces of attraction. As a result, magnesium chloride is formed. The chemical formula of magnesium chloride is MgCl2. So by this, again, let us recall what are ionic compounds. The compounds formed by the transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal are known as ionic compounds or electrovalent compounds. Here, magnesium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So this is all about formation of magnesium chloride.